Great, and welcome to another episode of Schoolboy Rugby Bonanza, where we talk about schoolboy rugby, and once again, schoolboy rugby. I'm honored once again to have the one and only, the founder of Schoolboy Rugby Bonanza, Mr. Louis van Kopenhagen. Welcome, Louis.
Good afternoon, Steve. How are you?
Great, and how are you?
I'm very well. I'm very excited for today's episode. I think it's going to be a jam-packed episode. And I think we would love the viewers to get involved and leave their comments, and just tell us what they think and if there is or are any games that they would be looking forward to and why. So I'm always after the question and the answer why. So that would be great if the guys can give us their reasons why for certain schools or certain games, and then we can take it up from there.
Absolutely. If you don't know, we also have an online magazine. And then, of course, our podcast, our chat show is available on our Facebook group. All our episodes. If you have missed some of our episodes, you can always go back to our Facebook group and you can go to our futures section, and there you will catch up all the episodes. Or if you're not involved on Facebook, or you don't like Facebook too much, you can always catch us on YouTube. All our episodes are on YouTube as well, from episode 1 and right until episode 9 that we are doing today. Right, so let's go into business. Today we are looking at last weekend's results. Officially, Schoolboy Rugby in South Africa has started. So we'll be having a look at Saturday's results, and I'm going to ask Mr. Schoolboy Bonanza, Mr. Louis, to start off as we are looking and we are diving into this Saturday that's been passed, the results.
Right. So, um, let's have a look here. Some very interesting results, and we will also discuss a few of the standout games that I believe was on a different level and for certain reasons as well. So if we first look here, and in no particular order, so Grey College versus Oakdale. Oakdale, our giant slayers. Um, I watched some of that game, and Oakdale, unfortunately, they had no answers. Grey
Yeah.
College really came to the party, and they really played very good rugby. But we will talk a little bit more in detail on this game as well. Then Paul Roos, Drosti, 24/7, Stellenberg, Paul Gem.
That's a huge upset name.
This was the talking point the whole weekend. Social
Yes.
media went absolutely crazy on this.
Yeah.
Um, and then Helpmekaar and Maritzburg College,
Yeah.
Jeppe, Parsfontein. Now, this is another interesting one. Two of the biggest schools in Gauteng, as we know, and we know that Jeppe also has the potential to make the big guys fall. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
very, very interesting result. Um, Durban High School, Michael House, 26-20. And then one game that I watched and I enjoyed this game because my heart lays with Afris, as you know, um, and they really played very good rugby. So, and a lot of the under 16s that played under 16s last year were dragged
Yeah.
into the first team, but they have some of the players that were in the first team last year as well. The outside center and the left wing were some of the guys who stayed behind because
Yeah.
now they are grade 12. So, and as we know from last year, Afi's under 16A side was the number one ranked side in under 16. So I really believe Afis has the potential to be either 1, 2, or 3 this year.
Yeah. If I can give a little bit of perspective of this few main games, Grey College, of course, was ranked fourth in South Africa last year, while Oakdale was ranked in the top 10. I think they were sixth or eighth in
Yes.
the top 10. So a lot of expectation was on that game. Oakdale, of course, have beat two of the big ball teams yesterday, last year that was in the top 5 of South Africa. And that's why we called them the Giant Slayers. But unfortunately, Grey College absolutely dominated that game, 38-7. The other upset for me, the one that really stood out, if I can also mention, is the Stellenberg game, 2019. Now, Stellenberg is a regular, let's say a regular, for a better lack of words, a regular top 20 finisher in South Africa,
Yes.
and they currently are ranked 13th. So it's no slouch. It's a powerhouse, but to still beat Paul Gim, that is one of your top 5 schools in South Africa, is a huge achievement, and nobody expected it.
No.
And at this stage, Stellenberg is as high as 13th now because of that victory. That their current ranking is 13th, so that's a huge thing. I think it's a good win for Helpmekaar, 32-19, a solid performance.
Yes.
And yeah, JP's win over Gasfontein are defending champions, of course, of the World Trophy, 29-26 is also a huge win.
Yes.
And also another standout match for me was the Affies Waterkloof game. Affies, of course, as we all know, are ranked 5th in South Africa. They are regular. They've also been on a couple of occasions the best team in South Africa, our champion team in South Africa.
Yes.
And a good solid victory against Waterkloof, which is also one of your top schools in Pretoria, 34-20. And then, of course, the two powerhouses of Durban, Hilton College and Westville.
Yeah.
39, a strong, solid, classic encounter between the two. Yes. 39-35. Yeah. Hilton College running out the victors in that match.
And I watched the second half of this game. And Steve, it could have, I think, to be very honest, if there was 5 more minutes to the game, maybe, just maybe, Westville would have been able to sneak in a last-minute try. But the clock was against them, and this is the final result. But nonetheless, a very entertaining game. I really sat on the edge of my seat, and it was really very good. It's very good to see that Schoolboy Rugby is only in their first or second week, and they are starting to produce this kind of
incredible. We're excited. I think also that people need to realize is that the talent in South Africa is huge. And yes, we do have there is a gap sometimes, and we do have a top 100, but your gap between your top 1 sometimes and your top 100 is that on the given day, any of those teams can be competitive against the best of the best, and it showed. If you look at the Stellenberg Paul Gim game, here's a team, Paul Gim, one of your top teams in the world. They're in the top 10 in the world of ranked school teams, playing against Stellenberg. It's a regular top 20 ranked. Top 20 ranked team in South Africa, but Stellenberg running out the victors by 20-19. Just shows you the gap sometimes between your top school and then your other competitive schools that's ranked inside the top 20 to 30, 40, or 50 even, is incredibly small at times.
Yes, definitely.
And that's very good for South Africa rugby.
Definitely. So, as I said in the beginning, the 2 standout games out of what we've just discussed, Grey College versus Oakdale, as we have labeled Oakdale the Giant Slayers. But Grey College really set the pace in this game. And their player, Magetsi, we spoke about him. He was drawn up into the SA Schools team.
Yeah.
Oh my word. He left off where he left off in 2025. He started in 2026.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, it's a huge talent.
It was game over. Just went and no one can come close to him. So, um, as I said here, unfortunately, the Giant Slayers had no answer to Grey College. Yes, but what a fantastic game. And we know we spoke to Grey College coach earlier,
Yeah,
and I'm very happy for them that they got off to a good start. And I think they will also have a very good season.
absolutely. They also will be at the St. John's College
Yes.
at the St. John's Festival, and we spoke, of course, to the coach in our episode 6. If you want to catch up with it, and of course, as we know that Grey College is such a strong team in Free State that they rarely play against the schools in Free State. All of the games are scheduled outside of Free State or schools that's outside of Free State
Mm.
because of the iconic status they have in Free State rugby. It's absolutely incredible if you look at the history of Grey College. So strong start for them, a solid performance against a school that, as we said last year, pulled off some incredible wins, and that's also ranked on many of the rankings of the top magazines in South Africa. Oakdale is currently ranked at 6th in South
Mm.
Africa. So a strong 38-7 victory for Grey College.
Yeah, right. So now, very interesting. I will speak about one game that stood out for me and will tell you why. So if we quickly run through the results here, Outeniqua, Nikomalan 45-0, Sachs versus Milnerton 26-17, Bishops and Worcester Gym,
Mm.
Northwood, Glenwood, Kersney, St. Charles. Now that is a huge win, right?
Yeah, strong victory for Kirsty College. Of course, one of your top powerhouses in Durban.
Yes. And Queen's College and Cambridge, Selborne, Stirling, 19 all.
Yeah,
So very interesting. Now we come to another interesting one. St. John's, St. John's and St. Albans, and we'll talk about them first,
yeah.
because St. Albans will be attending the St. John's Festival as well. So,
Oh, okay. Oh, awesome.
yes. So, very interesting that St. John's beat them 2014. And then
Yeah.
the other one, as we know, St. Stithians also have their Easter festivals.
Yes.
Um, they played against St. David's 2012. Now, the game I want to talk about that I watched from beginning to the end was Outeniqua and Nikumalan. Now,
Mm.
people will tell me, yes, 45-0. But in my opinion, that scoreline doesn't reflect what was happening on the field. Um, do not take anything away from Nico Milan. They really showed hard. But because it was the first game of the season, silly mistakes,
Yeah, but rusty.
very rusty. They get the ball down the line. They get to the try line. Knock on.
Yeah.
It was in the last 20 minutes, about 4 times they went to visit the 22 where they had a chance to score, and every time it was a knock on. And I just sat with my hands in my hair. I'm like, oh, but what a good game. And if we look at Outeniqua, their wing and their scrum half, they were the standout players in this game. The scrum half could easily be mistaken for a wing. He's got pace, big pace. And
Mm.
the wing that was the left wing, wow, 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 wow. And I think I told you as well during the match and after the match that these are the two players from Outeniqua that I
Yeah.
want to keep an eye on for this year. Um, but yes, it was the first game. for both sides. So you could see very rusty, even though the scoreline was 45-0. But even from Outeniqua's side, a lot of silly mistakes that could have been avoided. So maybe
Yeah.
the scoreline could have been very different if these mistakes weren't there.
Yeah, no, that's the thing of rugby. If you can't capitalize and you can't use your opportunities and you can't do that basics right, as
Yes.
my coach always said when I played for the under 15A team, is focus to do the basics right. Okay, go back to the basics, and if you
Yes,
don't do the basics right, then you can't compete.
that is very true. And if you look back at the basics, it is very simple, stupid things that most of us take for granted. But
Yeah,
if you go and think back, I remembered when we were still in high school, and I think it was under 15 or something, where the coach got very angry because we kept on knocking on the ball. So he said to us, let's do this stupid exercise. Keep your hands where you want to receive the ball. And
yeah,
people think this is very stupid. But once you keep on practicing this, you hold out your hands, and because you are busy running, so you can catch the ball in a very comfortable position and decide what you are going to do. And
true.
something very basic like this, but it was drilled in, and we could see as the season went on, we
Yeah,
got much better. Just purely
yeah,
out of one silly thing that was rectified.
absolutely, absolutely.
Right. So now let's go to the next set of results. Nelspruit, Ege Janssen. This was also a very interesting one. Um, we know both schools are quite powerful. They do well usually during the course of the year. Uh,
Yeah,
so a very close game. It could have gone either way again. Menlo Park, Ben Foster. Okay, nothing much to say about that. Uh,
yeah,
Noordjewel, Rustenburg. A very interesting game because both sides, I think, are more or less in the same league. So I think this result is fair. And I watched stints of this game. Um, Actually, not a bad game. I
yeah,
actually really enjoyed it. So very good. Then Brandwach and Otto du Plessis. Oh dear, 26-0.
yeah,
So I unfortunately didn't see this game. And then we come to another one where,
yeah. Graham College.
yes, we spoke to the coach, Graham College
Yeah,
and Daniel Pinar. I'm very
yeah.
happy.
Sorry, Louis, the Graham College game, of course. College will also be participating at the St. John's Easter Festival.
Yes,
Also, one of your top schools in South Africa, but they only have 300 pupils, if I'm not mistaken. They're actually a
correct.
very small school. So for them to
Yes,
be as competitive as they are is a pretty good achievement. They're one of the top Eastern Cape schools, top schools in the Eastern Cape.
yes, definitely. And then Weinberg and HS Strand. Okay. Um,
Yeah,
then we come to another one. Now, both of these
yeah.
schools, Monument and Welkom Gym, will also attend the St. John's Festival.
And we have to also remember that Welkom Gym is no slouch team. They're one of your top schools in South Africa.
Yes,
And we all know Monument is, of course, one of the top schools in Gauteng. Also, former Beeldriffier, when it was the Waal Trophy, was still the Beeldriffier, former
correct.
Beeldriffier champions. So that is a huge statement win for Monument
Yes,
for the start of the season. So look out for Monument to maybe crawl back into the top 20.
yes, because as we know, in the last couple of years, they've gone through some transitions and so on.
Mm,
But it seems they have found their momentum and their
Yeah,
mojo, as they always call it. So I think for all the viewers out there as well, if you are within the Gauteng region, keep an eye out for Monument as well. I think it might
absolutely.
surprise us.
Absolutely.
Yes. Then the next one, Framesby and St. Andrews. Um, Now, St. Andrews will also attend the St. John's College Festival.
Wow.
Yeah, very interesting. So this was a very interesting result, and especially looking forward to the Easter festivals, and especially the St. John's where we will be attending. I'm keeping an eye out for all the schools that will attend because it will give us a very good idea of what the competition will be during the Easter festival.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then to end off this this page of results, Durbanville, Boland to Cape Town schools, 24-13. So I think also maybe just because it's the first game of the season, so both were a bit rusty, but I think it's two schools that we can keep an eye out for.
Absolutely. Yeah. The Nelspruit J.G. Jansen game was also a big game. As we all know, Nelspruit is one of your top schools in Mpumalanga, probably in the top three in Mpumalanga. All the years they are very dominant in Mpumalanga, so that's a good start for them for the season.
Yes. And over the years as well, they've been a regular at the St. John's Festival. So
Yeah,
it's always nice to see that these guys get a regular time slot, as you can maybe call it, to go back to these festivals. So, and I think it's great exposure for these schools as well to play against schools they might never play against otherwise.
absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Right. So obviously the standout was the Affis Waterkloof, as we spoke about. The standout player for me was the left wing from Affis. If I'm not mistaken, he scored two tries in that game. So I think he will probably be going as far as the SA schools.
brilliant.
Right.
Brilliant.
Now, all right, Steve, now we have finished um, last weekend's results. Now we are looking forward to this week. And let's see what's going to happen. I've got a few matches that I'm going to keep my eye on. Come hell or high water, I don't care. I will watch these games because it sits very close to my heart. So, in no particular order, so one of the big ones I think that would be is
Sure.
your uh, Ray
Well,
College,
I
Ray,
that's the game I'm looking forward to. Great College versus Monument.
right?
Your
Yeah,
Giants of Free State Rugby versus one of the
yes,
Giants of Gauteng Rugby Monument. That's going to
right.
be a huge game, Louis.
Yeah, I agree, Steve, because if you look at what has happened last weekend, now I think from both sides, this is
Yeah,
going to give them even more motivation. So this, I think, personally, I think, and interesting that it's so early in the season, this is going to be a very close game.
I believe so. I do. My prediction will be, I do feel that Great College depth will run out in the final 20 minutes of the
Yes,
second half. So
yes.
I will still say that Great College should be able to win this game by 20 points.
Okay. All right.
stretching the lead in the final 20 minutes with depth and maybe the strength of their forwards.
Maybe, yes.
But Monument will most definitely be competitive, and I do believe that they will run them up. But I just feel the final 20 minutes of the game, that's where you normally see who's got the depth and who's the strongest team.
Correct.
And the quality team of Great College, being a regular top 5 in South Africa and a regular top 10er in the world, should be too much for Monument in the final few minutes. But you never know. You
Yeah.
never know what can happen. Rugby is a very funny game. And at the end of the day, we've seen some crazy stuff happening
Yes.
in school rugby.
And
So anything is possible.
no, definitely. And one of the other games that I want to keep my eye on is this one. The two neighbors.
Yes. Case versus St. John's. I know of a gentleman by the name of Mr. Dan Rousseau, if I can mention him and single him out. He, of course, he comes from Case, if I'm not mistaken. He played
Yes.
for Case's first team.
Right.
So he's going to have a particular interest in that game.
Yeah.
But yeah, two of Gauteng's top schools in Gauteng also ranked in the top 100, top 50 in South
Yes.
Africa. I believe both of the teams are ranked inside the top 50 or maybe just outside the top 50,
Yeah.
but two strong top performers.
And the other game that really is going to pique my interest, St. Stithians against Pretoria Boys High.
Yeah, that's a huge game. Of course, Pretoria Boys High is Affie's biggest rivals in Pretoria.
Yes.
Also a regular top 50 ranked team in South Africa. And St. Stithians is also one of your top schools in Gauteng. They're also going to have an Easter festival.
Yes.
They've also got a regular Easter festival that they hold.
Yes.
So I think that's going to be a super game
Yeah.
to look out for.
Yeah. And
another game that I can also look out for, and that people can have a look up for, that I think it's going to be quite interesting, is the Welkom Gym versus Sportsgym.
oh
That
yes, yes.
that's also a game that catches my eye.
Right.
Welkom Gym also, of course, one of the top schools in Griffins, and Potch is, of course, one of the top schools in at the Leopards, Western
Yes.
Transvaal, as we used to call them.
Yes, 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 definitely. Right. And then okay, so Glenwood versus Kersney. And let's see, Michael House versus Northwood. But now, if we go down here, Graham College versus Marlow. That is also
Yeah.
that I really want to sit and watch.
Of course, it's also the Grand College's Rugby Festival this weekend. So all these games that you've pointed out from Port Alfred are all part of the Grand College Rugby Festival this weekend.
Yes, correct. Correct. So we can keep an eye on that one. And if anyone is there at the Graham Rugby Festival, please send your photos to us, videos, it doesn't matter, just forward it to us on our Facebook group, join our Facebook group and send it there and just tag the school and say that you were at the Graham Festival.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. Now we come to some of the Cape Town schools. So here, Paul Roos versus Wynberg. So here it's going to be the Western Province Schools Day. So Rhonda Bosch versus Paul Boys High.
Now, if I can also cut in that Paul Roos Wynberg game can be a huge game, because Wynberg is also one of your top 20 schools in South Africa. Many people claim that Wynberg should actually have been in the top 10 of last year, because you get various people need to realize there's 3 or 4 various sources of that determines the rankings in South Africa. But Wynberg was just ranked outside the top 10 and definitely in the top 20, while we all know where Paul Roos is ranked. So that can be a huge game to kick off the Western Province school rugby.
Yes. And then if we see here, some of the other games that will be played at the Graham Rugby
Festival.
Festival. Yes,
Yeah, Grey High Schools, of course. Grey High Schools, of course, your top school in
PE.
Eastern Cape.
Mm, yes. And then this one, uh,
Ah, that's a mouth-watering. The one right next down before we go to Queen's Nico Milan, the Paul Roos Office game. That is a huge game, Louis. Um, number number one against number five, if I'm not mistaken, eh?
correct. So it's going to be me versus you then, because you are a Cape Town boy, I am an office boy. So this is
Yeah, well, no, I'm not from the
going
Paul area, unfortunately. I'm more from the Western Cape area. If I can give a special shout out to my former school where I played for the under 15 A teams, West School Swanswyk in Tukan. It's a great rugby, one of my best rugby career days there when I played for the under 15 A team there. So yeah, I'm more a Swanswyk old boy, Louis.
all right. Well, Um, I know it's always about province or something, but
Yeah,
no, it's going to be, I think this is going to be probably the highlight game of the whole weekend.
yeah,
I think we must keep an
definitely.
eye on social media. I think it's going to go crazy. I will put my money on Uffy's to win. I think it will be a close game, though. I don't think the winning margin, but you never know. But I still believe that Uffy's will pull this one through.
Yeah, I will say Office by five.
Okay.
I also, my gut feeling also says Office by five. I think Office got a statement to make. They they normally are ranked in the top three in South African. They lost out on the top three. So it's a big, huge statement here for them. They will desperately would like to get back into the top three. So that's going to be a huge game for them. Another game that for me also quite interesting that I also saw that's going to be a have a look at this game also, Lou, that we can have a look at is Paul Boys High against Outeniqua. Also two top teams.
Yeah.
Outeniqua is also no slouch of a team, also one of your top schools in South Africa. And we
Yes.
all of course, know where Paul Boys High is ranked in South Africa, one of your top five schools
Yes.
and one of the giants in Paul Rugby and Paul
Yes.
Rugby.
And
The three,
especially after the game against Nico Milan last week, Outeniqua is here to make a statement. The
yeah,
rugby they played last week was fantastic. So I personally think All Boys High, they've got their work cut out for them
yeah.
because Outeniqua really made a statement last week. And as we mentioned earlier, their scrum half and left wing, I want to keep an eye on those two players because I believe they have the potential to eventually get or play for Western Province Craven Week side this year. And from really the bottom of my heart, I really do hope this will happen for those two players.
Yeah, no, it is a crucial game for them to make a statement, to start off the season on a high. So definitely one should have a look at it. Another game that also stands out for me is, of course, Bellville versus Hopefield. Now, for those of you who don't know who is Bellville, they're also a regular top 80 ranked school in South Africa. They finished last year in 65th. So it's definitely one of your top schools. I also, one of my friends, two boys are in Bellville High, so I will keep a special eye on those on that fixture because of that. But I believe that Hoërskool Bellville's also got a huge potential and a huge statement to make and to start off the season well and got the potential to maybe push themselves into the top 15. So they would like to start off well
Hmm.
with a win against Hopefield and to maybe stake a claim to maybe get themselves into the top 15 South Africa. That will be great for them. Oakdale of course, we all know where Oakdale is. They would like to rectify the mistakes of last weekend with a strong statement win against Uppington.
Yes.
And then, of course, Hilton versus Durban High School. Another huge Durban clash. Hilton, also one of your strong schools in Gauteng, and we all know the history behind Durban High School. So that's also going to be a huge mouth-watering clash for the people of KwaZulu-Natal to go and have a look at if you're in the area.
Definitely. And that is a wrap for this week's fixtures that's coming up. So I really think we are in for some excellent rugby this weekend. We are going to be
Absolutely.
busy. It's going to be exciting. And let's see what we predicted. Let's hope that would come true. And
Absolutely.
let's see what happens, and then next week we will discuss the results. Then and see what happens. And Steve, thank you very much. This was a jam-packed show. Um, Thank you very much.
Awesome. If you're in the area, of course, close to Graham College, the Graham College Festival, as we said, is this weekend. So if you're in the area, go and support the boys. So there's going to be some mouth-watering clashes. Then if you're in the Cape area, it's also the Western Province Schools Day. That's running in the Western Cape. So if you're in the area to go and support the boys, please do. Give us a shout out. If there's any specific matches or schools that you would like us to promote or discuss, please make it known and give us a shout and let us know. If you would like to give us comments, if you would like to give us any of your impressions, photos, please send it to us for the for our online magazine as well as our Facebook group. If you're going to be at the games and you would like to send us the photos of the specific rugby games, please send it to us and we will post it in our magazine as well as our Facebook group. From my side, I also would like to give a special shout out for our journalist, the legend, Mr. Arnu. And then, of course, I would also like to give a special shout out to, besides myself and Louis, also to Louis' beloved wife, Sarah, that is helping us with the layout of the magazine. Also to our cameraman, Mr. Brian Dudley, that's also going to help us when we attend the matches and also is going to be with us when we go to the North-South tournament, which is, of course, next weekend, but we will talk about it more on Monday. And then, of course, I would like to give a special shout out to one of our promoters in Ireland, a special shout out to Elaine Hogan, that is helping us to promote rugby in Ireland and approach the schools in Ireland, and has always been supporting us to help us promote rugby outside South Africa. And then, of course, our amazing viewers and members. We are currently just over the 400 on Facebook. We are a growing community. And then to our subscribers on YouTube, thank you so much for your support. If you've got members that you know that will love this, please share the link, the YouTube link, as well as our Facebook group, and let us all stand together to promote Schoolboy Rugby. After all, that's the future of rugby. Thank you so much once again from my side also. Goodbye. Until Monday again, we will see each other again.
Monday.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.